Nathan's hands glided over my face, his fingers lightly caressing the delicate skin of my cheek. I swiftly swiped at him, but he evaded my effort, retreating with a smile. Nathan ceased his actions. My voice, a blend of frustration and amusement, filled the small living room, resonating with our playful banter. The warmth of our laughter permeated the cold winter air pressing against the windows, creating a cozy refuge from the chill outside. Nathan had always been a tease. Even as a child, his natural charm illuminated any space. Now, at 26, his allure had only intensified. I observed him, my son, now taller and broader, embodying manhood while still retaining the boyish mischief that rendered him so endearing. His dark hair was tousled. Following our light-hearted tussle, his blue eyes glimmered with enjoyment as he addressed Mom. Leaning closer with a smile, his breath warm against my neck, he remarked, "You know you love." I feigned annoyance by rolling my eyes, yet I could not refute the veracity of his statement. Nathan possessed an extraordinary ability to evoke feelings of connection, love, and support, even in such moments. Our bond had always been robust, but it intensified following Robert's demise a year ago. My husband had been the love of my life, and his loss felt akin to losing a fragment of my being. However, Nathan served as my anchor, providing me with a reason to persevere. Allow me to share more about myself. My name is Matilda, and at 62, I still carry myself with confidence and grace. I have lived a full life replete with love, challenges, and memories that have shaped me. I take pride in my appearance. My curves are a testament to years of living and loving well. My husband, Robert, passed away suddenly, leaving a void in our lives. At that time, Nathan was 25, just entering adulthood. Losing Robert was a devastating blow, and the grief was overwhelming. However, through that pain, Nathan and I grew even closer. Our bond became unbreakable. Even when Robert was alive, he would often joke that I lavished too much love on Nathan, overshadowing him, but nothing could be further from the truth. My love for them was equal yet unique in its own way. Robert was my partner and my rock, while Nathan was my pride and my light. After Robert's death, Nathan became my support, assisting me in bearing the burden of managing our family enterprise and traversing life amidst my husband's sorrow forged an unparalleled bond between us, leading us to rely on one another entirely. He provided me with fortitude on days when I felt depleted, while I, in turn, reminded him of his father's affection and the legacy we were collaboratively constructing. Thus, we found ourselves in this intimate little room. Nathan and I derived solace from our laughter, our bond, and the implicit understanding we shared. Our intimacy, which some may seem unconventional, was as instinctive as respiration. We engaged in play and merriment together, experiencing delight in the most simple moments. There were evenings when he would put his head on my chest while I held him like I did during his infancy. It served as a reassuring reminder of our link. Even as he matured and reached the age of 6, he continued to seek solace in my embrace, clinging to me as if he were still the little boy who relied on me to dispel his fears. I perceived no issue with this. It was our method of preserving the love and bond that had sustained us through numerous challenges. As the months progressed, our relationship evolved. In ways unforeseen by either of us, it was not merely the physical proximity, the shared baths, or the late-night dialogues, but rather a profound connection that transcended the conventional limits of mother and son. Our bond evolved into the cornerstone of my existence, a sanctuary where I discovered solace and fortitude in life. We were thrust into unfamiliar circumstances and adapted in ways that may be incomprehensible to others. Nonetheless, it seemed entirely natural to us. Nathan was more than just my kid. He had become my partner in grief, my confidant and my unwavering support every evening after the chaos of running the family business. Nathan and I would settle into the comfort of our living room. It was our sanctuary, a place where the weight of the day seemed to left, leaving behind only the quiet bond we shared. The room. It was small but inviting, bathed in the soft golden light of an old lamp that sat on the corner table, its glow wrapping the room in warmth, making it feel like a safe haven from the world outside. Nathan would always sit close to me, sometimes so close that our shoulders touched. His presence was steady and reassuring, a quiet reminder that I wasn't facing life's challenges alone. Though we didn't always speak, the silence between us felt comfortable, filled with an unspoken understanding that words couldn't. A ritual we both cherished was our shared baths. It began as a simple act of kindness from Nathan. He had noticed how overwhelmed I'd become after Robert's passing, and took it upon himself to create moments of peace for me. He would prepare everything with care, running the bath and adding a generous splash of lavender oil, knowing how much its calming scent soothed me. The tub was large and luxurious, big enough for us to share without feeling crowded. Nathan would help me step in his hand, steadying me as I eased into the warm water. We'd sit there side by, letting the heat relax our tired bodies. Sometimes Father recounted stories that made us both laugh and cry. He'd speak about his dreams for the family business and how he wanted to expand it and honor Robert's legacy. His words were filled with determination and love, and I couldn't help but feel a swell of pride in him. "Do you think Dad would be proud of us?" Nathan inquired one evening, his tone imbued with vulnerability and hope. I traced his face, my thumb gliding over the light stubble on his jawline. "He is Nathan, as he has always been, and so am I." He leaned into my touch, his blue eyes probing mine as if seeking reassurance. In that instant, the room felt constricted, the world subdued, as if it revolved solely around the two of us. In those moments, the bath transcended its function as merely a place to relax. It was an environment where we established a profound connection. Nathan's attentiveness and consideration underscored my significance to him. In response, I endeavored to be the stable support he required as he navigated adulthood without paternal guidance. These evenings became the pinnacle of my day, a period when the weight of responsibility dissipated, supplanted by the simple solace of our companionship in the warm water. The calming aroma of lavender and Nathan's steadfast presence instilled in me a sense of safety, affection, and support that I had not deemed possible after Robert's passing. Although life beyond our home was frequently demanding and unpredictable, these moments with Nathan reaffirmed that I was not alone. Together, we discovered solace in our rituals, establishing a new rhythm in our lives, one founded on love, understanding, and the strength we derived from one another. As time progressed, the physical expressions of our intimacy intensified. He would sit beside me on the couch, resting his head on my lap while I caressed his hair. It was an implicit accord, a means to anchor ourselves in mutual solace. One evening, as he reclined his head across my breast, he said, "You are my everything." Mother, his words hung in the atmosphere, weighty, with meaning. I kissed his forehead, my heart swelling with a mix of emotions: love, pride, and a sense of responsibility so profound it felt like a weight and a privilege. All at once we built our lives around each other, our routines intertwining seamlessly. One night I sat at the edge of my bed, unable to sleep. The weight of grief pressed down on me, a constant reminder of the hole left by my husband's untimely death. My eyes were puffy from endless nights of crying, and my heart ached with loneliness that no one else could understand. I missed him so much. His laughter, his touch, his presence. It felt like part of me had been ripped away, leaving a void that nothing could fill. As I stared at the walls of our bedroom, trying to push away the memories that flooded my mind, I heard the creak of the door. Nathan stepped in, his eyes soft with concern. He always knew when something was wrong, even when he was just a child. It was one of the many things that made our bond so strong and so unique. "Mom," he said gently. As I approached, I saw you seated. Upon entering, I was unable to resist. His voice was a soothing balm to my tormented spirit. I gazed up at him, my son, my closest companion, and felt a tear cascade down my face. He extended his hand to my shoulder, and the warmth of his touch elicited a shiver inside me. It was a little act, but it had profound significance in that moment. "Nathan," I muttered, my voice quivering, "I am uncertain how to proceed. In his absence, I really miss him. I need him." Nathan moved in closer, his breath warm on my skin, and muttered, "You need not endure this solitude." His words, "I'm here for you, Mom," elicited a torrent of emotional tears cascading down my cheeks as I clutched him. He enveloped me in his arms, holding me firmly, as if attempting to absorb my anguish inside his embrace. I felt secure and valued. I cherished it. It was an emotion I had not felt since my husband's death, and it was both reassuring and perplexing. As we sat there, enveloped in our mutual grief, Nathan's hands began to move gently, caressing my back, my arms, and my hair. Each touch was intentional, imbued with a tenderness that rendered me breathless. I gazed up at him, my eyes searching his, and discovered a blend of affection and something more profound and ominous. "Mom," he murmured softly, his voice scarcely above a whisper. "I need you to know that I love you deeply." His confession lingered heavily in the air, a silent entreaty for comprehension. My heart raced, my pulse quickening in my ears as I endeavored to comprehend the implications of his words, which felt perilous and taboo. However, they awakened something profound inside me, something I had long suppressed. Before I could react, Nathan leaned close. His lips grazed mine in a tentative kiss. It was tender, even worshipful, as if he feared shattering me. Yet, the instant our lips met, I felt a spark explode inside me, a conflagration. Unbeknownst to me, a lingering ember ignited as I reciprocated his kiss, my body instinctively reacting to the caress of his lips. It was morally reprehensible, yet it felt inexplicably right. Our kiss intensified, growing more fervent and urgent. Nathan's hands caressed my face, his fingers entwining in my hair as he drew me nearer, and our tongues intertwined. We explored one another with an intense fervor that had me breathless. I felt the escalating heat and mounting tension between us. Nathan's hands traversed my back, his touch electrifying, eliciting goosebumps up my spine. "Nathan," I whispered. Despite indicating a desire to withdraw, he did not cease his actions. He seized my lips once again, his kiss more forceful and urgent. I acquiesced. In response to the feelings Nathan was eliciting inside me, I attempted once again to articulate with my voice. Trembling as his lips traced a heated path along my jawline and descended to my neck, I thought this was inappropriate. Yet, despite my protest, my hands betrayed me, entwining in his thick hair and drawing him nearer. His breath was warm against my skin as he murmured, "Then why does it feel so perfect?" His lips moved lower, grazing my collarbone with a gentle insistence that rendered my objections into a muted gasp. "You're beautiful," he said softly, his gaze sweeping over me with a reverence that caused my cheeks to flush. He leaned in. Once again, his lips met mine, the kiss more profound this time. His approach was neither rushed nor frantic, but rather deliberate and unhurried. He acted with intention, as if striving to preserve her every second and movement. I felt his hands glide along my sides, his thumbs grazing my ribs, igniting trails of fire with each touch. "Nathan?" I whispered, my voice faltering as his lips found the hollow of my throat. His hands descended lower, resting on my hips, drawing me closer to him. The warmth of his body against mine was intoxicating. I could not resist tilting my head back, granting him further access. His lips returned to mine, moving with a fervor that mirrored my own, his hands cradling my cheek with a tenderness that sent shivers through me. I entwined my fingers in his hair. He drew me closer as his mouth explored mine, leaving no area untouched. Each sensation intensified with every electric touch, overwhelming me with a blend of heat and electricity that compelled me to arch against him, yearning for more. His hands moved with a confidence that belied his age, yet each gesture carried a tenderness that reassured me and made me feel cherished. His lips followed his hands, exploring and leaving me breathless, longing for more. Time seemed to dissolve as we became engrossed in one another, the outside world fading away. There was only Nathan, his touch, his kisses, and his whispered words that quickened my heart. "Nathan," I murmured once more. His voice quivered as his lips returned to mine. This kiss was deeper and more intense, causing the final traces of hesitation to dissipate. The night extended, our breaths intertwining, with each kiss, touch, and whispered words serving as a declaration, a promise of an unarticulated understanding. We continued unabated, the room resonating with our whispers, laughter, and gasps as we explored one another, discovering every curve, line, and secret. Time seemed to suspend, granting us this moment of endless night where only the two of us mattered. Nathan's lips remained on mine, his touch both reverent and increasingly urgent, mirroring my own desires. His fingers traced intricate patterns along my sides, eliciting a shiver of anticipation within me. "You are everything I have ever desired," he whispered, his voice laden with passion. I stopped him with another kiss, my hands gliding down his back, feeling the tension in his muscles, his warmth, his power, and the way he gazed at me as if I were the only person in existence. It was intoxicating. I ought to have ceased. This should have concluded the chaos, yet each time I attempted to voice my objections, his touch muted my dissent, pulling me further into the moment. His hands framed my face as he kissed me anew, his thumbs gliding over my cheeks. "Tell me if this is excessive," he murmured, his gaze probing mine, imbued with both fervor and apprehension. "It is not," I replied, my voice a breathless whisper. "I desire this. I want you." The words had hardly left my lips when his mouth captured mine once again, his kisses becoming more audacious and insistent, his hands exploring freely, gliding over every inch of my flesh, his touch sparking an all-consuming fire within me. I was insatiable in my admiration for him. No matter how fervently I attempted, I could not draw him close enough. The atmosphere in the room became dense, charged with palpable electricity. My hands intertwined in his hair, gently tugging as his lips descended, tracing the contour of my neck, the hollow of my throat, and the rise of my chest. His mouth was fervent against my skin, igniting a trail of heat. Every nerve in my body awakened, each touch eliciting waves of pleasure. I surrendered to the sensation of his presence, feeling cherished, desired, and loved. "Nathan?" I whispered, my voice faltering as his hands glided down my thighs, drawing me nearer. His name escaped my lips like a prayer, a plea, a confession of unspoken truths. "Matilda," he murmured against my skin, his voice quivering with emotion. "You're incredible." The intensity of his gaze, the way he regarded me as though I were his entire universe, caused my heart to constrict. I recognized the impropriety of our actions and the inevitable repercussions, yet in that moment my focus was solely on him, on the emotions he evoked and the way he embraced me as if he would never release me. Time became irrelevant as we surrendered to one another, our bodies and souls intertwined in an ancient dance. The room resonated with our collective energy, our breaths intermingling and our hearts synchronizing. As the night progressed, Nathan held me tightly, and I rested my head against his chest, attuned to the calming cadence of his heartbeat. We lingered in silence for an extended period, the gravity of our actions weighing upon us. I sensed the encroaching guilt and discerned it reflected in Nathan's gaze when he finally met my eyes. "This shouldn't have happened," I stated, gently, as my arms remained encircled about him, reluctant to release my hold. I was aware that he responded. His voice was laden with remorse, yet I harbor no regrets, nor do I, despite the inherent wrongness and the inevitable repercussions we would confront. I cannot bring myself to lament the emotions he evokes in me, although guilt afflicts us both. We seek refuge in each other's arms, pledging to safeguard our secret from the outside world.